of a different drummer, sing the pitch of a different tune. Like to whistle when the wind blows bitter, 'cause change is coming soon. And I've been picking up ground on you. I have a talent for getting in trouble, 'cause I never know when to say no. Every time I ask a question, I'm back outside looking in through the window. Hard to whistle through the sting of the wind. Whoa. Yeah, and it's a long, long way home. And I can make it alone. You don't owe me anything. No, I'm free to be who I will be. When the sun burns the back of your neck, the summer won't apologize for heat. And if I sit alone up here burning in the sky, maybe I move to the dark side for a while. Still every time I lift my head I can see for miles. To choose, move or two away from checkmate. That's right about the second you lose. You can always bend the rules. And I know it ain't the car I'm driving, making money and what's at stake. When this game is finally over, ain't none of that I can take. Except for the choices I make. Yeah, and it's a long, long way home. I can make it alone. You don't owe me anything. No, I'm free to be who I will be. When the sun burns the back of your neck, the summer won't apologize for heat. And if I sit alone up here burning in the sky, maybe I move to the dark side for a while. Still every time I lift my head I can see for miles. Side for a while. Still every time I lift my head I
started singing when I was 4. My mom got me into some choirs, and I started playing guitar when I was 7. And I was taking lessons at this music school in Pittsfield, which in and of itself I was always really grateful for because, I mean, not then, obviously. Back then it was across the bear, you know, you're like a 7-year-old kid and has to practice every day, which was a nightmare. But in retrospect, I was definitely grateful because my mom worked really hard. We were kind of a low-income family, and she had to finagle certain things in order to get us the opportunities like music lessons. What I grew up with was kind of, we watched a lot of old movies, like Irving Berlin, kind of musicals and stuff. So singing along with that on the TV when we got our first VCR was when my mom thought, well, all right, maybe it's time to get this kid some lessons or something. But music-wise, I mean, albums that we would listen to were heavy into the Beatles, the early stuff. I felt like I actually kind of grew up with the Beatles, even though I was born after their time. You know, there was like the contemporary stuff that was going on then too, like back in the 80s, which I have kind of an aversion to these days. But yeah, I'd say the Beatles were really heavy. A lot of folk influences, Bob Dylan, James Taylor, because that's the stuff that I started learning guitar with.
Save the world along the way. But no one told me that my dreams were mortal. I wanted just to hear you play, to hear you play. I always had a soft spot for women who could sing away the night. Something happens in your heart if you listen. Makes your trouble seem alright. It seems alright. It's alright. So tonight we can share this shelter. Build a slow burning fire out on the side. And I would gladly trade this wine for just a chapter of your tale. Lord knows I've had enough of mine. I'll take a piece of you with me till the end of time. Well, I was with my buddy Neil in the kitchen. We shed our dreams and became men, and he said, if I could set foot on the trailhead in Georgia, he would not rest until the end, until the end. But these are thoughts we keep in bedroom closets, to keep the job, the wife, the kid. And I got nothing but respect for them, 'cause that's one thing I never did. I never did. So I told him about the Appalachian Mountains. We flicked our ashes in the sink. It's a lot like any other trail you walk down. It's so much longer than you think, and I still think that tonight we can share this shelter. Build a slow burning fire out on the side. I will gladly trade this wine for just a chapter of your tale, 'cause Lord knows I've had enough of mine. I'll take a piece of you with me till the end of time. was tending bar up in a local dive. She'd come in and drink a few. She was caught up in a 10-year conversation between Kerouac and Bukowski too. She said, I know you don't remember me, baby, but I sure remember you. I gained some weight and they stopped calling me Susie. These days it's mostly just Sue. She said I was just too young to understand her, as if I never dug a hole. The kind you desperately claw your way out of before it swallows up your soul. I heard she went out to the island with her trouble to feel the earth without her shoes. You can never really outrun your trouble. Me, I just learned to sing the blues, to sing the blues, yeah. So tonight we can share this shelter, yeah, yeah, yeah. Build a slow burning fire out on the side, and I would gladly trade this wine for just a chapter of your tale, 'cause Lord knows I've had enough of mine. I'll take a piece of you with me till the end of time.
I served in the Army for 4 years. And during that time, I had actually set my guitar aside. I mean, I couldn't really bring it with me for training or anything. And pretty much around the same time that I started to come into certain moral conflicts with being in the military was around the same time that I started writing my own songs. And the more I focused on that, the less I really wanted to do anything else. And the idea of only having to play music started to become really attractive. There's some great artists out there that I've been listening to a lot lately. You know, Martin Sexton, the Allman Brothers have a huge influence on my guitar playing. You know, those guys, Warren Haynes. But where I'm at now on a more general level with my music is focusing on a lyrical quality such that every song can stand on its own as poetry. I think I was about 20 or 21. I was in the Army. I think I was out in Arizona. Yeah, and I had just gotten my guitar shipped to me because, you know, I couldn't bring it with me for basic and whatnot. And the day I got my guitar, I pulled it out to start playing, and I met a couple of other folks, a couple of other troopers that way, who were also musicians, but none of us knew that about each other because we weren't there under a musical context. So we all started playing together. You know, there were a good 3 or 4 of us. So I'm 20, and I started writing a couple of tunes, and I think that's really where I started falling in love with songwriting, just because I had tried to make songs before, but never really had, I think, a strong enough sense of who I was and what I was about in order to accurately represent my perspectives in song.
You jumped into the water first day, just in the nick of time. It was getting hot, yeah, yeah, just sitting there on the sidelines. And they were so mad at you, whoa, 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 in your blasphemous ways. Your best, I know you did, yeah. But they'd never understand how they could hate violated every rule, yeah. Said we were all just living for ourselves. Your lesson in loving, your baker's dozen, stopping and nothing and doing it well. If I could just shut up and listen, then I just might find my part. But yours is the harmony. You gotta hear it, you gotta feel it with your heart. You are a dragonfly out on the water, just living it out. Dressed in shadows, and if something wicked this way comes, if I can show my gratitude for all the things you do, consider it done.
Well, it's apples and oranges, you know? I wouldn't really say that one is more anything than the other. Creatively, totally different. They're just totally different animals. Performance-wise, you know, there's a lot more room for improvisation. There's a lot more room for, you know, sort of looseness that occurs while improvising, or, you know, trying to connect with your audience and using the live environment to get an energy going. And on that point, I think it's important to recognize the fact that recording only ever really was intended at its inception to capture an event, you know, like a concert, a bunch of people sitting down in a room and playing for other people. And now it's like, oh, we have the ability to record that and to archive it. Well, that's an interesting tool, and it's spun off into all these different variations that have been used commercially and for all kinds of different purposes. But knowing that that's how it began, you know, it's like, that's really the challenge. Like, I feel like when I'm in the studio and when I'm using those tools to capture music, that's the point. It's like, it's all about trying to capture that energy that you get in the live environment from generating this sound and connecting with your audience, and then, you know, the whole room can just blow up into this microcosm of like this musical energy that really, you can feel it, you know?